I got the horse right here, the name is Paul Revere, and here's a guy that says if the...
Hello racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Handicappers Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. I'm Mike Heads along with Drew Forster. We're going to go through the Wednesday, August 21st races at Hastings. We have 7 races on the Wednesday program. Yeah, it's an afternoon card. First race goes at 1:50, so it is an unusual. We changed things a little bit for the P&E. We race Wednesday afternoon and then Friday night this week, and then
back the same next week.
It'll be the same the following week on the 28th and the 30th. So a little alteration to the racing schedule during the P&E dates, but 7 races on tap. And
yeah, they did. It took a little while, but they did a good job getting the cars together. It is tough to fill.
Because it was like we did have 3 days last week, and then 2 quick days back. It was like 5.
Still a little bit of the BC Cup hangover.
5 days in like 9 days. Yeah. 5 racing days to fill in like 9 days. It was a lot, and but they, hats off to the horsemen who, a lot of horses are running back quick.
Yeah, they are running back quick, but they did get it filled in some competitive races, to be sure. First of all, though, last Sunday, we had the prep for the Oaks.
The Hong Kong Jockey Club Handicap.
And of course, the Derby trial. We're going to go have a look at those. Here's first is the Hong Kong Jockey Club. Horses to watch in here will be the 4, Miss Derrick, the 3, I think so, and 7, Touching Promise, who does get run down the lane a little bit.
Yeah, the 4 leaves there well. That's, I think so. I know it posts 3, but we're solid clock number 4. And Aaron Greider had things. Actually, Frank Fuentes had things really easy on the head end. That's right too. All the riders were out of town, or many of them were out of town for the mile. But she get things nice and comfy.
Yeah, she had decent traction.
Touching Promise rushes up 3 deep here.
Touching Promise to make a line of 3.
Still 24
and a quarter lengths back now to Miss Derrick sitting in 4th. Willamette down towards the inside.
Touching Promise settles into 3rd, and then Miss Derrick playing a nice comfortable 4th on the outside. Clear.
She starts to come up with a clear fractions.
And I think so into the turn by a tight length.
Miss Derrick was definitely the boss of the race. She was farther back early with slower fractions. She moves up wide, but she was the best on this day. Again, 47 and 4, not crazy fast.
No, it's comfortable. And it's, Miss Derrick just kind of glides up here in the 3 path, and not without being asked.
I think so.
Still, relatively comfortable. Touching Promise, not looking comfortable on the inside there. We're going to go through on the inside of the 1. But the 5 is, you can see the tight lines and everything is out. This horse is just cruising up, and you can see she's a lot of horse. I mean, she's definitely going to go, if nothing crazy ships in for the BC Oaks, then she definitely will go as your favorite.
Absolutely. Yeah,
she reels in, I think so, pretty comfortably. And then Lockett comes late on the inside there.
Yeah.
Nice rails run to get.
I was actually impressed. I thought that when Miss Derrick went by, I think so might fold a little bit more, but she did dig in and secure 2nd.
No, that was a good run. But Miss Derrick's the horse. I mean, that was the horse in that race that really won very easily. And congratulations to the connections, Copper Water. And
we'd be remiss if we didn't mention, too, they had a nice 2nd in the Canadian
Reporting
Derby
Star, yes, for Chad Joe and Craig McPherson. That was excellent. Running 2nd to Broadway Empire in the Canadian Derby, but certainly have the horse to beat.
And of course, hats off to Rob Gilker and Perez.
What a great run with Herbie D. That was huge.
Winning the mile.
That was huge.
Very impressive. That is a tough race to win when you look back at the previous winners.
And you get the 10 hole, and this horse had to be kind of gunned, and you can tell the instructions. Amadeo doesn't usually ride that way, really dart out of there and
he usually just kind of gets his horse and
lets horses glide and be where they want to be, which is why he wins so many races. But this on Sunday, he made sure Herbie D was on the lead, and he was, and it was a good move.
Down the lane, it looked like the ones behind him were just running sand. They couldn't make up any ground on him, and he was just.
As you mentioned, congratulations to George Robbins, Darcia Doman, Rob Gilker, the whole connection. Corky Russell gallops the horse, Vicky Gilker. They had a great team. Herbie D, ultra impressive with Amadeo Perez on board.
2 for 2.
We're back-to-back for the Longacres Mile. That's cool. All right, let's get into the Wednesday night program, or Wednesday afternoon program. Got a field of 6 going postward in the opener, which does start at 1:50. I'm going to head to the 4-horse Rolling in the Isles. This is a $5,000 maiden race, but this horse, he's been some big odds in his last couple of races, but he's been improving. His last run, I thought, was very good off a bit of a freshening, and he got beat by Stone Ridge Raider, who's not all that an accomplished horse, but still, Rolling in the Isles is not facing a very tough group at all. No, so I got to take this horse to win it with Freddie Manrique. I put the 6th horse, Mr. Mansky, in for second. I really tried to make him a winner. I went back and watched the replay again, and him and Pumpkin Moonshine went at it, and he did put away Pumpkin Moonshine, but was really, I don't know, just wasn't striding out great at the end of the race, and if he would have been 5th beaten 4 lengths, then maybe I would have given him top marks. But he really, he's a horse that has some upside. He's only 3 lifetime starts. If he can kind of get settled, comfortable on the outside of Pumpkin Moonshine, maybe he will win it. But I think you need both of them. I put the 1 Contact Man in for third. He's shortening up off, I think, his best race of the year. He chased the pace, or was tracking the pace going along. I just think he may benefit from that race and might run a little bit better on the turn back to 6.5 furlongs. But not a lot of, you really got to manufacture something here in this race, and it's really hard to, to read through the poor races that so many of them have had. But I ended up on 4, 6, and 1.
I got the 4 on top too. Off that last race, he looks like he's the sharpest horse coming in this race. I put the 2 of Devil's Cause in the second spot. He was way out of it last time. They did go fast, but he left himself a lot of work, and he did close up a fair bit of ground. If he can lay a little closer, I think he could be dangerous in here. And I put Pumpkin Moonshine in for third. I had to pick somebody. There's a lot of ways you can look at this race. I just had trouble. I put Pumpkin Moonshine for third. 4, 2, and 5 for me. On to the second, Maiden, 12-5 for 3-year-olds and up. I went to the 4 here. Balak Or was claimed by Pat Jarvis last time. He got beat by Step Up and Hardware. Both came back.
No, that's a dirty tough
That was a pretty tough maiden 10 race. It was that day. Step Up won, Hardware ran second. He came back and crushed this division. Balak Or was well thought of that day. There was actually a couple claims in for him. Pat Jarvis got him. I think Pat Jarvis does quite a good job. She's given him time. He came back to work very good, the 59-3. He'll be freshened. I like him in this spot. I got him on top. The second spot, I got Whose Daddy Is Dat? I was disappointed last time he ran for the maiden 12-5, but when you go back and look at the race, My Dubai is a decent horse, and Peyton's Best came back to win a maiden special.
Yeah.
So obviously it was a tougher 12-5 than what it looks. So I got Whose Daddy Is Dat in second. And in the third spot, I put Bluegrass Man. He's the one taking the drop down from 20. DJ Snow, I think, is a decent horse. He beat him last time. And Lord Calazar. Those are 2 all right horses that if they were in here for maiden 12-5 would be your chalk. So I got Bluegrass Man in the third spot. I got 4, 6, and 5.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the 6, Whose Daddy Is That? Yeah. I agree. It's 4 or 6. I mean, I just went to the 6.
Those are the 2 for sure.
On top. A good run, I thought, last time behind 2 pretty good colts. And that was enough for me to put him in the win spot. I put the 4-horse Balak Or in for second. As you mentioned, off the claim, good work and a little freshening. This horse has got a lot to give as well. But
they're both coming out of tough races.
Those 2 are inseparable. Yeah. And I put the 1 Act Exotically in for third. Another one claimed. This one moves to the Rennie Lumsden barn. And good third to last time to Checker Plate, and just considering it was just his debut, I thought this horse had some upside, and the runner-up horse Intended Consequence won on the weekend as well. So I went 6, 4, and 1. On to the third race, some non-3 lifetime fillies and mares going 6.5 furlongs. I landed on the 2-horse Forever Me. Pretty logical pick, a horse that's been running and pretty consistent throughout the year, and I think the cut back to 6.5 furlongs will suit this horse perfect. Yeah. I think routing, the horses run okay going long, but I think this horse is more of a better one-run closer sprinting, and I'm going to try Forever Me to win it. Put the 1-horse Lady Born in for second. This horse did win its non-2 last time, won it quite comfortably from an outside draw, and this horse is going well, and I think you definitely need both of them, the 1 and the 2, but I did pick the 2 on top, and I put the 3 Stormageddon. I think this one would be a distant third for me. I think you only need 2 horses in this leg of the early pick 4. I think 1 and 2 should set you up very well. You got a pace horse and a horse that can come from a little bit out of it. So I put Stormageddon in for third, though. He was, she had been running against some pretty good 3-year-olds, then had a couple of months off, and went on the Lasix program, but didn't move forward off of that. And actually, your better races are without Lasix. But I went 2, 1, and 3, but I did like Forever Me.
I got exactly the same horses. I put Lady Born on top.
Easy to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's those 2, like you said. I like the race behind Pine Walk, who came back as 1-2 since then. And when she got away from Pine Walk, she absolutely crushed the non-2 field. Logical step is into the non-3. I think she's tough in here. Yeah. Forever Me, the reasons you mentioned. I got her in the second spot, and Stormageddon in the third. I got the same horses, but I agree. It's 1 or 2. I could have...
Yeah, it's a big gap.
I could have them either way.
I think the 1 and 2 are quite a bit better than the balance of the field. And it's just we both took Stormageddon to round out the triactor, but I think 1 and 2, 2 and
Those
1
are the two. Yeah, I was the same as you. I could have went either way. I got 1, 2, 3 in the third. On to the fourth race. 3-year-olds, straight 3-year-olds, claiming 8,000. I went to a horse here. We Can Be Heroes. He'd been off a while, and he finally got a race. He hadn't run in a month. He ran last time going long, and going long isn't his gig. If you look at his form, he's rarely run long. And around the turn, it looked like he was going to absolutely fall right out of it. And he kept digging and kept fighting down the lane. And I think he got a lot out of that. Now you start going back to a sprint. I think he's absolutely dangerous in here. I got We Can Be Heroes on top. Step on the Gas was beaten 55.5 lengths. I love when they do that. 55
I know, 55's enough.
That was against older boys. Running against
Round
Gamby, against these tough older horses. That wasn't for him. And it was going long. I think you come back to a sprint against straight 3-year-olds. I think he's quite live in here. I got him in the second spot. And a horse, another one that I don't know if he wants to really go long, even though he won last time. Serendipity Grove was in a dead heat last time going long, but I think he's an even better sprinter. Yeah. I know this is a tough race. You can make obviously a case for Pineapple as well, and God, he missed out a little freshener. He might be tough too. But 6 horses. I ended up on 3, 2, and 1. I got We Can Be Heroes on top.
Yeah, this is a tough race. I had a lot of trouble with it. I didn't even put We Can Be Heroes in the top 3, and it could be a big mistake because, as you mentioned, this horse was a pretty game in that mile and the 16th race that, he doesn't really want to go long. I went to the one, though, Serendipity Grove. I was pretty impressed with the tenacity this horse showed.
That's another one I don't think really wants to go long.
No, but in battle, this horse showed me a lot of gumption off the claim. This horse was like, he had the lead, lost it, came back, and I ended up dead heating. The two of them hit the line together, Bedroom Bully and Serendipity Grove. But I thought it was a courageous effort, and if it didn't exhaust him too much, because he is coming back in 12 days, then I think the horse is pretty live. I put the 2 Step on the Gas, for the reason this horse was in a tough race last time. These older horses, that was a lofty assignment for him. He gets back in against his own age group, and I'm sure he'll be a lot more of a presence in the race. I put the 6 horse. I'm Big Trouble in for third.
That's another. I don't have
this horse.
Make a case for him.
But he was off for 5 weeks. Asked to go long first time against winners, and he wasn't disgraced at all. He got beat a couple of lengths. Didn't get a good trip at all. He was wide on the first turn, and he was wide down on the inside. Then he got stopped a little bit. He ran. He kind of had some stops and starts, but he ran a decent enough race. But I think he's going the right way.
He's in the mix here.
Yeah, the only horse, I don't know, I guess the 5 Got Heme, and the ones that are going, looks like they're going the wrong way are the 5 Got Heme and the 2 Step on the Gas. It looks like they're going in negative positions, and even 3 Can Be Heroes. A little concerned about the 2, 3, and 5, because their form is deteriorating, but if it's deteriorating for a reason, then you can make a case for them. But it is a contentious race. Only 6 of them. You might be wise to take the whole lot of them. But I went 1, 2, and 6. I was really impressed with Serendipity Grove last time. On to the 5th race. Got some non-2-4s here. 4,000 claimers going 6.5 furlongs. I landed on the 1, Our Last Call. Pretty impressed with his last run. He was 3 wide the whole race and battled on well against Game 7 and Checker Plate. It was a ridiculous pace. There was 4 of them out there going as on a suicide mission, 22 flat, 45. And,
Game 7 came from
Game 7 came from 20 out of it to win it. But Our Last Call, I thought, was fighting on well at the end. But that was a non-3, too, and that was 8,000. Now you're in a non-2-4. That's a big class relief for Our Last Call. So I'm going to go to that horse to win it. I put the 3-horse Joint Choice, who also exits the same race. I think they're kind of interchangeable, both of them. Both were out there fighting, but this horse, Our Last Call, did beat him, despite being quite wide throughout.
And being off for a while, too, right?
And I put the 6-horse Tally Stick in the 3rd spot. This horse returns to a sprint after a couple of unsuccessful tries routing. But if you look at his last sprint, I know it was just a maiden score, did defeat 1440. And I think this horse is better suited to 6.5 furlongs, even though the pedigree might say that it wants to go long. But it kind of showed that maybe he doesn't. But this horse had some excuses in those 2 routes anyways. And so I'm going to put this horse in the 3rd spot. I went 1, 3, and 6.
I got the same top 2. I got Our Last Call on top. As you mentioned, it was a very hardy race last time. He'd been off for a couple months. He probably needed the race. I think he takes a step forward. I think he's your horse to beat. Joint Choice coming out of that same race. He's worked his way down. He just always seems to be close, but doesn't quite get there.
They're both dropping and getting into a non-2. They've been in the non-3s, and those are...
it makes a big difference.
There's no non-2-8, so it's you have to run in the non-3s.
This is where you go for a non-2, is down at the bottom, and this is where they end up. I got the same horses. Our Last Call, Joint Choice. I couldn't decide between Tally Stick or 1440 to put in the third spot. I put 1440 in there.
I had the 8 in, and then I crossed it out, put the 6.
Yeah, they're pretty
that close.
interchangeable.
It's that
Yeah,
close.
I couldn't decide. I put 1440, and I like the way Pat Jarvis's horse are running too. I got 1, 3, and 8 in the 5th. On to the 6th race.
17-5 non-twos.
Non-2, non-3 for the BC Breds. And I have gone to the 8 horse Step Up in here. Was claimed off Tony Cloutier a while back. Ran him for maiden 10. He absolutely crushed. They took their time. They brought him back. They ran him in the 3-year-old stake on BC Cup Day. And he wasn't disgraced, right? He was kind of in the mix, and he was, you know, had kind of an uncomfortable trip. And now they aggressively spot him right into a 17-5 non-2, non-3. Even a 3-year-old running against older horses, I don't mind that because I think he's good enough. And he likes to go long, too, as he proved last year as a 2-year-old. So I got Step Up on top. The second spot, I put What a Sense of Humor. This is another one that he's only run he's only run long once before. That was at the end of last year when he was definitely kind of tailing off.
Oh, it was his last start.
Yeah, it was last start of the year. I think, you know, they just tried to get one more start into him. It didn't work. But this year, you know, he has been on fire. He absolutely crushed in his maiden race. Came back, he's been beat 2 necks. You know, easily could have won. He's going the right way, and he's a distorted humor out of an AP Indy mare, so I don't think the distance could be a problem. He's got a nice number for the distance. I got him in the 2nd spot. And the 3rd spot, another horse that's crying to go long is Monaghy. Went in this exact same race going short a few weeks back and was not a factor at all. But he's not going to be a factor going short. He just doesn't have that kind of kick to go short. He's a big, long striding horse that needs to get going. And going long, I think he's more dangerous. I got 8, 1, and 7.
Yeah, I've got the same 3 horses. Step Up, kind of an unusual horse. You have a horse that was claimed for 30,000. Then put away for a little while. They run it back for 10. Nobody claims the horse, and it wins by a pole in 116 and 2. It doesn't reappear for non-2 17-5 or anything. It reappears in a stake race of all places, and isn't disgraced and gets bet accordingly. He's only like 6.5 to 1.
Yeah.
And this horse ran a decent enough race against Gopher Guinness in an extremely fast time of 1:43. Now heads back to the 17-5 level. I think this horse is the boss. I think this horse gets the lead in this race and is going to be very dangerous. It is a mile and a 16th, but this horse should be able to find its way to the head end. I like the outside draw, and I'm going to take Step Up to win it. I agree with your one horse. What a Sense of Humor for second. This horse hasn't done anything wrong this year. He's run 3 bang-up races. Unlucky not to win a couple of times already this year, but this horse, you know, gets top marks. If anyone beats Step Up, it could be the one. What a Sense of Humor. And I agree with the 7 horse Monty. This horse, I picked it last time. I really thought the horse could sprint off a bit of a freshening.
Yeah.
He can't.
He can't, no.
He simply doesn't have that
not
22, 45 gear. He's got the 23 and change, 47, 112, and keep going gear, which that's not any good sprinting. You need to be able to go 22, 45, and 109 or 110 at this level. He doesn't have it. But going along, he's live in here, so give him another chance on the stretch out.
You probably get a bit of a price on him.
Yeah,
too.
both of his mile and 16th races are top shelf races. He won one, and prior to that he lost to the Derby Trial winner Bluegrass Pride. Yeah. So he's got some nice mile and 16th races that are competitive in here. And maybe for your superfecta, throw in the 5 Timeless Storm, first run for Dave Dahl. This horse may go well, or the 9 Deputies Command. But definitely I agree with Drew. 8, 1, and 7 in the Wednesday feature. On the 7th and final race, fillies and mares in here, 4,000 claimers, non-2 lifetime, going 6.5 furlongs. I'm going to sneak off to the outside of the 8 Miss Heatheridge. I picked this horse 2 starts back and didn't fare so well in a straight 3-year-old race for 10,000, but it was a very impressive maiden score. Then they tried blinkers last time after the defeat when I liked the horse. There was a bit of a layoff there, and I just don't think the blinkers were the key with them. They obviously end the experiment and take the blinkers off this afternoon. So I'm going to give this horse another shot. I think there's enough speed in here for someone to sit just in behind and maybe make a bit of a run and win the money. But that maiden score was so impressive, and I got to give this horse another look. I put the 7 horse Calm the Storm in for second. Narrow Loser to Little Miss Bean against straight 3-year-olds for 5,000, but I still think she fits well against older horses in a conditional non-2. And I put the 2 horse Crypto Magic. Maybe this is the one that'll run down the 1 Officer's Charm. I was between the 1 and 2 for the 3rd horse. I didn't know who was better for speed, but I think Crypto Magic might have a little more versatility. Officer's Charm seems to need the lead at all costs and has has a little suspect in the last eighth of a mile when she does get the lead. But
Yeah.
I went 8, 7, and 2. I'm going to try Miss Heatheridge.
I got the 7 Calm the Storm. She finally put it together, broke her maiden. Then that last race I thought was a big race. She only got beat half by Little Miss Bean, but she was like 5 lengths clear of Electric Girl, who came back to win a non-3. So this is a non-2. I think she's very live in here. I really like Calm the Storm. I put the 1 Officer's Charm. She's going to be on the lead. She seems to slowly be maybe putting it together. Her races seem to be improving a little bit. Maybe she'll hang on a little bit longer. Who knows? I can't tell you how long she's going to hang on, but she'll be out there.
She's a gamble.
And the 3rd horse, I put Crypto Magic, the 2 horse of John Snow's in here. John Snow's barn going very well. This is a horse that looked like it had quite a bit of upside early on, broke its maiden, come back, just got beat in the non-2. Has had some troubled trips and then got cooked on the front end, 21 and 4. You see some fast fractions. So maybe if Alex Marty can get her to relax a little bit off Officer's Charm, she can make a good run and maybe make a good account of herself in here. I got 7, 1, and 2. That'll do it for the analysis of the Wednesday, the special Wednesday, August the 21st.
Rare Wednesday
P&E card. Up next will be our slates. Our picks are coming up. Mike will be first. There we are.
All right, back in race number 1, I did go to the 4 horse, Rolling in the Isles. Not in love with the horse. I really think the 4 and 6, you probably need 2 horses in here. I went 4, 6, and a 1. Second race, once again, I get 6, Who's Daddy Is Dad, over the 4, Block Or, and the 1, Act Exotically. Didn't really like that race, but I went 6, 4, and 1. Third race, the 2, Forever Me, over the 1, Ladyborn, and the 3, Stormageddon. I think you definitely need the 1 and 2 in the 3rd race. And the 4th race, wide open event. Really no standout in here. I went to the 1, though, Serendipity Grove. I went 1, 2, and 6. 5th race, number 1, Our Last Call. I like this horse. I think this horse will be very dangerous on the class drop. I went 1, 3, and 6. 6th race, number 8, Step Up. Another one dropping in class for a good barn. I'm going to try him to win it. 8, 1, and 7. And in the 7th and final, I went a bit of a price horse. Definitely the longest priced horse that I'll have on the day. The 8, Miss Heatheridge, over the 7, Calm the Storm, and the 2, Crypto Magic.
And up next will be my picks. There we go. In the first, I agree with Mike on the 4, Rolling in the Isles, over the 2 and the 5. In the second, I had the 4, Block Or, over the 6 and 5. In the third, I went to the 1, the rail horse, Lady Born, over the 2 and the 3. In the fourth, I went to the 3, We Can Be Heroes, over the 2 and the 1. As Mike mentioned, a very wide open race. In the 5th, I went to the 1, Our Last Call, over the 3 and the 8. In the 6th, I went to the 8, Step Up, over the 1 and the 7. And in the nightcap, the 7th, I went to the 7, Calm the Storm, over the 1 and the 2.
All right, that'll do it for this edition of Handicapper's Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. Once again, first race is on the Wednesday program is 150, 7 races, but lots of simulcasting going on. Delmar, of course, starts at 2 o'clock, so join in. We'll be interlocking with their cards. So could be some good play because we'll have some California interest hopefully coming in on our Hastings races. Of course, Saratoga running in the morning, but if you can't make it out to the track, try to skip the P&E
crowds.
Get here to the Derby Bar and Grill if you're out in the area. Always great meals, lots of televisions, good atmosphere, so come on out to the Derby Bar and Grill. So on behalf of Drew, thanks everyone for tuning in to Handicapper's Corner. We'll see you next time here at the Derby Bar and Grill.